Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at a stack of research, really focused on leadership and legacy.
Yeah, specifically on building organizations, maybe movements that are designed to last, to be truly self-sustaining.
Exactly. Not dependent on the founder or, external support forever. This isn't just about the usual growth metrics.
No, it's more about the architecture. How do you structure things so they thrive long after you've stepped away?
So our mission today is to unpack some, frankly, quite provocative questions and exercises these sources throw out there.
They're designed to push leaders, to shift from being the, let's say, the planter or the manager,
Right, the one always in control.
to becoming more of a catalyst. And a big piece of that, the sources say, is mastering how to pass on authority effectively.
Okay, so where do we start? What's the core tension here?
Well, the sources jump right into this conflict, one that's often kind of hidden, I think. Are we building for immediate results?
Meaning like size, stability, looking good right now.
Precisely. Centralized control, maybe? Or are we genuinely building for reproduction, for that lasting, self-multiplying effect?
That's a huge distinction.
It is, and it leads straight into their key benchmark, the mature seed vision.
Mature seed vision. Okay, what's that?
Think of it as the gold standard, the ultimate goal, whether it's a new company division, a nonprofit, whatever.
It needs to be.
Self-governing, self-supporting, and self-propagating. All three.
Got it. Governance, finance, and multiplication.
Exactly. If any leg of that stool is missing, the sources argue it's still dependent, still, immature in a structural sense.
Okay, let's unpack the first big hurdle then, the mindset shift. Because, wow, these sources don't pull punches on the leader's ego.
No, they don't. They ask directly, how might dependency actually be hiding, maybe masquerading as faithfulness in your leadership?
Ooh, that's sharp. Like feeling indispensable seems good, right?
Yeah.
Faithful even.
Right. If you're the only one who can fix things, or if funding depends entirely on you, well, it feels important. But is it healthy long term?
And they also talk about the unseen costs, like exporting your own culture along with the main message.
Yeah, that's a big one. Are we planting something truly indigenous, or just transplanting a foreign model? Exporting our bureaucracy, our style.
Our way of doing meetings even.
Exactly. And the source points out the unseen cost there is often stifling local innovation. You're implicitly saying our way is better.
Which kills local ownership.
Totally. So the test they propose, it's pretty stark.
But what about leaving tomorrow?
Yeah. If you had to leave, like right now, would the organization thrive? Would it keep innovating, keep pursuing the mission?
And the answer tells you about your leadership today, not in the future.
Exactly. It's a real mirror.
Okay, but let's push back a bit.
Yeah.
Isn't there a massive risk in letting go? Stepping back too soon could just lead to collapse, couldn't it? Or mission drift.
That's the natural fear, absolutely. And it's the tension every leader feels. We use oversight or stewardship as reasons to hold on.
Sometimes as excuses, maybe.
Well, the materials suggest that sometimes, yeah, clinging to control, even for good reasons, can actually prevent the very sustainability you want. It's a paradox.
So how do they connect this to, like, a practical model? I saw mentions of empowerment, even looking at examples of sending people out before they were perfect.
Right. That's the challenge to our comfort zone. Can we trust potential? Can we empower people who are still growing, still maybe imperfect?
Instead of waiting for this mythical state of perfect readiness.
Which never arrives. It becomes a trust test, really. If you wait for perfect, you wait forever. You never release authority.
And this ties into redefining maturity, not just size or stability.
Exactly. If maturity is just about being big and stable, you focus on maintenance.
Yeah.
Keeping things safe, predictable, like a contained pool.
Okay.
But if you redefine maturity as sending capacity.
Ah, the ability to send people out.
Yes, to send your best people, your top talent to start new things, then your focus shifts entirely to reproduction, multiplication. You become a river, not a pool.
A river, constantly flowing outwards. I like that. Okay, so moving from mindset to mechanics. Finding and empowering local indigenous leaders.
This is crucial. The sources really hammer this. Cultural insiders have an advantage. They get the context. They connect with hearts in ways outsiders just can't fully.
Which forces an external leader to ask, am I actually blocking those authentic connections by insisting on my methods, my control?
It's a hard question, and it leads to their core filter for identifying those leaders.
Okay.
Character before competence.
Okay. Explain that.
You have to look for a genuine character first. Resilience, faithfulness under pressure, teachability, without projecting your own cultural biases about what qualified looks like.
Because competence can be taught, developed.
Right. But that core character, that ability to bear weight,
Yeah.
that's fundamental. You discern that first.
It feels like where it gets really tricky, though. You talk about avoiding foreign expectations, but the sources themselves, they have roots, right? Theological, maybe philosophical roots. So how do you ensure the core message, the doctrinal purity, as they put it, stays intact without just imposing your home culture's leadership style again?
It's a definite balancing act. The first practical step they suggest is auditing your structures, your governance.
Okay, asking what?
Is this structure designed to empower local leaders? Or is it really just there to manage them for external expectations, maybe for the home office?
So complex committees, multi-layered reporting nobody understands locally.
Exactly. That's probably designed for external comfort, not local empowerment. The goal should be radical simplification, governance reflecting core principles, not imported org charts.
Simpler, slatter, more local control. Makes sense. And complexity often hides control, right? Which brings us to money, financial dependency.
Yeah, the sources are really sharp on this. It's one of the most powerful, subtle inhibitors of real independence.
How so?
Well, there's that old saying, right? He who has the gold makes the rules. If an organization depends heavily on outside money.
It might feel pressured, even subtly, to conform.
Absolutely. To please the donors, maybe tweak the mission, change methods. It creates this, well, unhealthy dynamic where you're accountable to people miles away, not your own community.
Okay, so how do you break that cycle?
Yeah.
Financial independence takes time.
It does. It needs a deliberate plan. They call it a stewardship shift plan.
Stewardship plan.
Okay. The key is reframing local giving. It's not just hitting a budget number. It's an act of ownership. Real investment in the mission.
And they give targets for this.
Yes, very practical ones. Their three-tier approach to push towards self-sustainability.
Lay it out for us.
Okay, short term. Aim for 10% local funding. Just getting that first bit shows it's possible. Proof of concept.
Right. Step one.
Midterm. Push for 30%. Now you're seeing real local buy-in, real potential.
Okay, getting serious.
Long term, the goal is 60% or more. The thinking is, once you hit that 60% mark, the organization has enough resilience, enough financial independence to really make its own strategic calls without undue outside pressure.
Wow, that's incredibly concrete. 10, 30, 60%. A clear pathway. Any leader could use that.
It gives you measurable steps for releasing that financial control.
Okay, but let's circle back to the integrity question. The doctrinal purity or core mission. If locals are making all the decisions, funding it themselves, how does the founder ensure it doesn't drift completely off course?
That's where the character part comes back in. Those trusted Indigenous leaders you identified. They become the primary guardians of the truth, the core values, not the external person.
So the founder's role shifts to equipping them.
Exactly. Equip them, train them. And the sources advocate using Indigenous methods, local art, music, storytelling, to teach the core principles so it resonates deeply.
Making it stick culturally.
Right. But critically, you also train those local leaders to spot and guard against what the sources call subtle forms of syncretism.
Syncretism. Define that in this context for maybe someone unfamiliar.
Sure. In a leadership sense, it's mixing the non-negotiable core truths or values of the organization with local ideas or practices that actually compromise those truths.
Like maybe cutting ethical corners for profit because that's how things are done?
That's a business example, yeah. Or, for a nonprofit, maybe watering down the mission statement just to get a specific grant, losing the original purpose.
Got it. So local leaders need the wisdom to see those subtle compromises.
Exactly. They have the context to spot it where an outsider might miss it entirely.
Okay, so we've got character, simplified structure, a financial path. Now the long game, generational strategy.
Yes, this is about legacy. Are you training followers who always need your direction?
Or are you training reproducers, leaders who can start and sustain new things themselves?
That's the ultimate shift. The sources point to this idea, Timothy 2.2 chain.
Okay, the biblical reference, what's the principle?
It's a 4-step generational transfer. Leader A entrusts the mission to faithful person B,
Okay.
who is then able to teach others. C, who will then be equipped to teach others also. D, A, B, C, D. 4 generations.
So if your training only gets to B, you've just got a follower.
Essentially, yes. But if it reaches C and D, you have the beginnings of a reproducing movement. It's multiplying beyond your direct reach.
That's a really powerful picture for succession. But it requires that final, maybe hardest shift for the founder.
Oh, definitely. Moving from planter, the hero maybe, to catalyst, the supporter in the background?
Almost invisible sometimes.
Perhaps. And the sources ask leaders to really examine their identity. What personal attachments make that transition so hard?
Like needing to be needed, the status.
Yeah, if your whole sense of self is tied up in being the visionary, the one in charge, stepping back feels like a loss. A loss of status, influence, maybe even relevance.
It takes real humility.
Profound humility and emotional maturity to willingly choose to become less visible so the movement can become more visible through others.
So what's the practical path through that identity crisis?
It's about reframing success, recognizing that the catalyst role, advising, mentoring, resourcing from the sidelines, is maybe the most impactful role long term.
Your success isn't holding the torch.
It's how brightly others carry it because you equip them. And that means mentorship has to be deep, relational, about character investment, not just checking boxes on a training program.
Okay, let's try and synthesize all this. We've gone from mindset shifts to structures to generational thinking. What's the bottom line for a leader wanting a truly lasting legacy?
I think it boils down to one core question the sources implicitly ask. Are you willing to become invisible?
So that the movement can become more visible, more authentically local, more impactful through others.
Precisely. Your legacy isn't a network that depends on you, your brand, your genius. It's a movement that multiplies beyond you, independently, sustainably.
Letting go of the spotlight so the work itself shines brighter.
That's the essence of it.
We have covered a ton of ground, redefining success as sending capacity, character over competence, simplifying governance, the financial steps, that catalyst transition. It's powerful stuff.
It is. But it all hinges on that courage to release, to pass the torch well.
So maybe a final thought for our listeners to chew on.
Yeah, here's one right from the heart of the material. If real success meant reaching the point where you, the founder, the external leader, became genuinely unnecessary, would you still chase that success with the same passion?
Wow. That's something to sit with.
Because the future of any great endeavor, these sources argue, depends not on how tightly you grip that torch, but on how boldly you pass it, entrusting it to others who can carry it even further.
A profound challenge indeed. We really encourage you listening to think about your own leadership structure. Those principles of plant, grow, release, those financial metrics, maybe apply them this week. Thank you for sharing these sources for the deep dive.